Loud Esmond here for winners and whiners. And as you can tell, I got Saints gear on and I got the Saints water bottle right behind me. So I am a Saints fan, and I generally don't pick games involving teams that I love or hate in any serious way. So I'm not going to be doing an official pick all season long on a Saints game. But Thursday night football, you've got the Jaguars coming into town to play the Saints. And interesting line movement in this thing already. The line opened Saints -1.5, and it's moved to Saints -3 rather precipitously, which kind of confuses me because the Saints honestly have not been playing very good football. They are holding teams down on defense. They've allowed 15, 17, 18, 26, 0, and 20, allowing 16 points per game. But geez, the offense looks terrible. And it's the interior of the offensive line that just stinks. The two guards are not very good. They're not opening holes in the running game. And it is just not working on offense because when you can't run the ball, you're one-dimensional. Play action pass means nothing. That's a big part of Derek Carr's game, and it's just not working on offense for the Saints. Now, when it comes to the Jaguars, I'm going to throw out the London games. I think it's terribly unfair that the Jaguars make that trip all the time. They do it a couple times a year. This year, they were allowed to stay for 2 weeks in London. Whoever the team is that comes in that's playing the Jaguars after they've been there and been acclimated for 2 weeks, and then you've got to fly over a couple days before and play them in. No, I think that's terrible. It was the Bills that got caught on the other end, and honestly, the Bills looked like they were sleepwalking. So that was, I think it's terrible. It was an awful game. I don't like it. So I'm going to throw those two games out. Now, when you do that, you've got a team in the Jaguars that has beaten the Colts twice, and the Colts suck. Let's just be honest. They're bad. They lost to the Chiefs 17-9. They lost to the Texans 37-17 at home. Now, the Saints offense stinks, and they lost to the Texans too, but they only allowed the Texans to score 20 points. The Texans hung 37 on the Jaguars. The Jacksonville defense is overall ranked low, but they must be really good in the red zone because they give up the second most yards in the NFL, but they only give up 20.3 points per game. So something's off there. But, a defense that only allows 20, a defense that only allows 16. And this is why I think the line on the over-under has moved even more than the line as far as the point spread. This line opened 42.5. It's down to 38.5. 38.5 points is not very much in the modern era of football. The single teams could score 38, 40 points. 37, 35 is not at all unusual in the NFL. So I think everybody's looking at how good these defenses are, but there's something that you could very easily overlook, and that is the Jaguars' defense is terrible against the pass. They're 31st against the pass. The Saints' strength of their team is the receivers, not the running game, and Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield and catching passes. So I think you're actually going to see more points scored in this game than people are expecting, which is why Loud Esmond on Thursday Night Football between the Jaguars and the New Orleans Saints likes the over 38.5 points. If it had stayed at 42.5, I probably would be on the under. But I think it's gone a little bit too low, and this is going to go over, but just barely. All right, I'm Loud Esmond for Winners and Whiners, trying to make you a better.